Thank you for listening to the TTalks.net podcast, the show that brings you information, guidance, and support to entrepreneur-minded individuals like yourself. TTalks.net will give you something to talk about tomorrow. This isn't the Daily Show, but this is the show where you'll get everything. You'll get a fiesta of a mix with the old and the new. They will give you tips and insights into everyday business, big wins in everyday life. They have a lot to add, from bookkeeping to sales management, and sales training, and daily content for listeners to learn and enjoy. We are here to improve your life in business or sales career. Without any further ado, introducing the dynamic duo, Alex DeLuca and Rafael Rodriguez Jr.
Good evening. My name is Alex DeLuca. We're hanging out here in Naples, Florida, and I have
Rafael Rodriguez from Hollywood, Florida.
Woo! It's 10 p.m. on the dot. You know, I love it. We're on time. That's one thing that we can control is our time, and that's it.
And we're getting perfect at it.
You know, we really are. You know, at first I was like, I was getting the jitters, like, what are we going to talk about, and getting nervous. But, you know, the past 4 or 5 episodes, they really been vibing. The half hour goes by way too quick. There's so much content to touch base with on a half hour limit. T-Talks is happening now, tonight, and tomorrow. We're giving you big wins and insights, everyday business and life. Rafa, what do you think? What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just glad to hear that the third round is coming through for a lot of people that actually need it, and probably a lot of people that don't need it. But
I'm glad you said that need it. Yes, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are very fortunate to have this money, be stimulated and pumped into our economy. Good and bad. That's another topic, but, America needs it.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. And what that does, it actually accelerates the market. And
100%. Those stimulus checks really do make a bounce. We were talking about marketing, direct marketing. How many items when you walk into Sam's Club, Costco, and Best Buys across the country are going to be $13.99?
I believe that you'll probably find down payment $1,400, TVs for $13.99. It might be $1,100 plus tax.
75 inches of OLED phenomenal TV stimulus check payment. Thank you, Mr. Government, Uncle Sam, you name it.
Well, again, I'm really happy for those people that really need it, and they're gonna go ahead and hopefully put to good use. And when we talk about money and good use, I think there was a topic that we wanted to kind of bring in, and that's all about SEO.
SEO, this has been a topic on the tip of our tongues for the past 9 months in business, really focusing on the grind and what do we have to do better to present yourself, your company, your business online. And, the SEO is where it all starts. This is more of Rafael's realm. I'm going to throw my 2 cents and input in it, but the man himself is going to give you a crash course in SEO factors, 7 types of SEO explained in detail. We're going to get to the nitty gritty on SEO in this next half hour. You ready, Ralph?
Well, I guess I'm going to try. There's many ways. Digital marketing can go and be broken down into the realm of the internet, social media, and SEO is really a small part of your company presence, your branding, and there's a lot of hoopla out there and talk about being on the first page, and there are people charging from $10,000, $6,000, $4,000. $2,000, $500.
It's so that scale is like crazy. It's like, not the average person knows what they're even looking for, what a company's going to present to them, and what the end result's going to be. So, pay attention. We're going to break it down for you.
Oh, we're going to try. Definitely, we're going to try. The first thing we want to talk about is what is SEO? Okay. It's real simple. It's search engine optimization. And basically, what the Google, the Yahoo, the the DuckDuckGo, Bing,
Bing,
all
there
these
you go.
search engines, what they do is that they send out little crawlers, and they actually look at your website. And when they look at your website, they're actually looking for the content. And then all that information is sent back to the respective search, and they go ahead and code it into their own little algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how whenever somebody searches for a keyword, this is where your website will rank within that search engine. And we can really bring this down like really deep technical, but we're gonna try to keep it as simplified as you can, because one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, and you might start hearing it more and more the more you dig into the SEO, it's gonna be what SERP is.
What is that?
SERP is the search engine result page. So whenever you put a keyword, this is the result that you get. That's really the optimum of that's the prize. That's what what your ultimate goal is, that you're in that the highest ranking, because we know in the marketing field that if you're on the top first, second page, you're gonna drive some traffic to your website, and those traffic should be converted into leads, and then leads turn into appointments, and appointments turn into sales. But then what happens is that the biggest thing that people have to do when they're built, and this is part of building their website, you need to make sure that your website is SEO friendly, that you have enough keywords there that when these little crawlers come out, they actually go and look at your page, and they start gathering all this information and sending it back to the search engine. So when you put roof and you're in Fort Myers, or you're in Orlando, or you're in Jacksonville, anytime that you put a tile roof in Jacksonville, and you're in Jacksonville, that you show up on that ranking, hopefully within the first page. Now,
And how long does that take to do organically rather than
well,
paying to be there?
typically it has been my experience. Depending on how, it's like anything else. How quickly can you build a house? If you have all the resources available and you put 100 people working at it, you might finish that house within, instead of 6 months, maybe within 2 months you might be able to do it. So kind of the same thing might apply when we're dealing with the ranking. The more you change the website, the more content you put, the content is coded so it's picking up those keywords, and sometimes it's all about repetition, but repetition that kind of makes sense, and not everybody can just write a paragraph. Think about it. You'll write something on the website that says, we are the best roofers in Orlando. And in Orlando, we are the best roofers because, and in Orlando, we are the best roofer because of, in Orlando, now I put Orlando roofer. Well, I might have 27 different Orlando roofing that the crawler came in and shot it back out to the search engine. Well, you might start ranking a little bit higher, but it has to make sense. The same thing we called a website that doesn't provide any content. It's like putting a car in the showroom and just leave it there.
I'm sure that when you're hiring the company to do your website, they're you're paying them by the hour they put into the work on your website, right? So that controls the amount of keywords that they're using, and the reports that you're talking about. Like, what about the bounce rate and the social media traffic and being able to track all that and show a report for a company at the end of the month?
Well, what happens is that now you have what we call the backlinks. You have traffic that's you're being pointed to your website. So sometimes what will happen is that you should have all your social media tied in, because the more people are tied into you, the more the algorithm within those search engines starts putting you higher, because
yes,
it shows.
And just to touch base on the social media aspect and grabbing the same handle, that's pretty important. That does something with the algorithms, right? If you're grabbing the same handles on all the platforms and you're keeping them almost identical. I think we grabbed them all other than one of them for Tea Talks and other companies. You might have to add a 1 at the end of it, but you want to keep that the same and keep your 3-word slogan the same on all the platforms as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, and we can go on and on and on, but I'm trying to get you guys in the short period of time that we have enough information for you to at least understand the concept, because as you can see, now you have a copywriter, that somebody that needs to know how to write the information so it captures correctly. Then you have your person that has the website. Then you have your social media tied in, and hopefully one of the things that happens is that you're completely uniform throughout all the platforms, because the last thing you want to do is not be consistent on each platform. So Best Orlando Roofer and your website and your social media and all of them, Best Orlando Roofer, and so some of your backlinks that they're actually rated based on the credibility. So the more credible, and what are one of the things
back up. Explain credibility in your in your copywriting, in your ads, and in your just overall writing on your website.
Well, we're talking about more on the backlinks. When we talk about backlinks, if I have a website that is it's been around for 27 years and it's a good website. I'm trying to think of maybe LinkedIn, and maybe even some of these other platforms that exist out there, and they're pointing towards your page. Those links are going to be weighted much heavier than a website that just opened up 2 weeks ago. And sometimes one of the things that we do is that we try to put into different directories the company. The more directories you put it in, the more links are linked to your website, and that starts bringing in credibility towards.
And that's huge. Like whatever, and we're talking about, the different Yelps. What other directories, like the home improvement directories that you can put your company in? Go into a little bit more depth there.
Well, absolutely. You got the Angie's List. You got the Home Advisors. You got Craft. These
are all websites that bring you to your website.
Correct.
And these are all little things that organically, you keep watering and nurturing over time, and that's how you get to the top in Google without paying for it. It takes time.
Paying it, yes. And that's a reason why a lot of people prefer to go organically, because number one, is cheaper at the long run, because especially to give you an example, the word roof, shingle roof in Naples, for that one lead, that one click, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a lead out of it. You could easily be paying anywhere between $50 to $75. And as a matter of fact, in South Florida, it could be anywhere between $100, $110. I mean,
150.
150. So every time somebody does that click on that, it's costing you money, and it doesn't necessarily means that you're actually turning into a client. It's just a click.
And it's easy for anybody to find out what those numbers are, right, Ralph? Google Analytics, anybody can sign up to this for free. You can learn your demographics, you can learn your zip codes, what keyword searches. Even in the roofing industry, we talk about learning who your avatar is, right? You start using other things that aren't even industry related to pull people back into your website. I can tell you that there's a huge clientele for me in Cape Coral. We were just speaking with somebody about promoting their bathroom business, and we looked around. We're in a peninsula surrounded by water. What are all these people searching for? I don't know. Water sports, fishing. Let's go ahead and look for keywords. Every time somebody's looking for fishing and have searched for roofs before, let's show up for that person. I opened up my phone today and it was like an ad saying, "How do you think that I know that you own a car lot?" I'm like, I don't own a freaking car lot, but that guy is looking for that person that owns the car lot and wants to flip those cars. For some reason, I clicked on something or I searched something or, that somebody that owned a car lot does or is trying to flip cars.
And what happens is that one of the things that happens with Google and some of these search engines that are actually monitoring the consumer, and they're putting actually a fingerprint of your behavior. So if for some reason or another you're looking for roofing, what they'll start putting is putting ads in front of you about roofing. Matter of fact, Instagram and Facebook, they're pretty damn good at following people around and knowing your behavior and what you're looking for. And that's why in the past, Facebook has been pretty effective in some of the campaigns for some of our clients.
And, Facebook is extremely effective, more so than ever before. My eyes are open like, wow. You read all these documentaries and what's out there about your information online. Literally every millisecond you're on your phone, it's being tracked. You stop at something in your timeline or going through Google, that's tracked. You make eye contact with it, it's tracked. It knows everything.
Well, and what happens is that, and time is going so quickly and so much information, but there are different type of SEOs. You got the white hat SEO. Those are usually about the content. You got black hat SEO, which they're somewhat borderline because you're basically stuffing keywords, you're spamming, you're paying for paid link building. You can actually be affected negatively by using it. You got the gray hat SEO. Again, you're paying for reviews. Link exchange. You got negative SEO, negative reviews on online forum, low quality links.
Bad press is good press.
And you got on-page SEO, high quality content. You got off-page SEO, and then you got the technical.
Last but not least, technical SEO. There's a lot of different SEOs. I bless our SEO team, our digital masters team, Shanky and the crew. You guys, hats off to you. There's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes, coding and SEO optimization for your website. One of the biggest things that you touched base there, I don't know which one it was that you're paying, are the reviews, paid reviews, just reviews in general. That's huge to have on your website and for the organic traffic. How easy is it to just take your reviews off Google or the Better Business Bureau and throw them right there on your landing pages or your home pages?
You can. I mean, there are different programs that allow you to take all these different reviews from different companies, from different platforms, and bringing it right into your website. So you definitely want to take advantage of using your Google reviews with your Facebook reviews with your Angie's review and put them all concentrated, and you actually have the ability to say only show me the 3 stars and higher. So if you got a 1 star or you can't make everybody happy. There's no way. And if you do get a negative review, try to respond to it as quickly as you can. Don't let it go for a week or a month, because what that shows is just
respond it and take care of it.
Take care of it. Absolutely. Whatever you got to do. I did have to put that plug in. But the reviews definitely, what that does, it starts providing credibility now that you have people on your site. So just think about, we were talking about the cars, this brand new car just sitting in a showroom, right? Well, if
Yes.
you let that car sit in the showroom for 2 or 3 years and don't do anything to it, what do you think might happen?
It's just gonna sit there.
It
Collect
becomes
dust.
stale. It's no longer. I mean, at one point you're going to say, "Why is this thing in the showroom?" And the reason why you're going to say that is that number one, most likely they might have changed the line. If they haven't changed the line, it's similar, but yet it's not a brand new car. It's a 2 year
Hmm.
old car. And believe it or not, a lot of business owners and companies, marketing directors that have websites that have been there for 10 years and they haven't done anything to it. So these crawlers come around and they view it, they analyze it, and they say there's nothing to analyze. So it goes back and says, hey, those guys are boring over there. Nothing is happening. There's nothing going to happen to your website. What's the definition of insanity?
Repeating the same thing over and over again.
And getting,
The same result.
the same. So if you don't do nothing to your website, if you
What do
do
you think's gonna happen?
nothing is going to happen.
Ding,
Nothing.
ding, ding. We have a winner.
Hey, we got a winner.
We're gonna touch back on these T-Talk topics. We got 7 different types of SEO that you mentioned. Let's go ahead and break them down. First one, starting off with your white hat SEO. Give me a quick description. Explain.
Just think of it as, this is following the guidelines that are set forth by Google or by the search engine. So you literally are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. The more you do what you're supposed to be doing, the more you're rewarded. So to give you an example, the backlinks, if they're organically set, like an Angie's List, a Home Advisor, compared to a directory that all they do is that you pay them, $100, and they'll put 100 links for you to tie it to your. Those are going to be less weighted. And the opposite of doing the thing that you're supposed to do and following the search engine guidelines is called the black hat. And these are the don't do you shouldn't be doing. And if you do, you can actually get penalized and be flagged. So typically, I will highly suggest that.
And there's,
Huh?
I'm glad you said that, because there is companies right now that will teach you this and charge you to teach this, and it's wrong.
It is completely wrong.
And it's a scheme. It's one of those get rich quick programs that once Google finds out, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. You're flagging, and it's hard
And
to
let's just
get
take
out
advantage of this situation.
of being flagged. Absolutely.
You
You
don't
know,
do it.
The
There's a fine line in business.
yeah, and that goes right into the kind of the gray hat.
There you go. We like that gray area.
It's a little bit of the grayish, and it's borderline. I
Google
think
doesn't, webmasters or guidelines, they don't say that it's explicitly prohibited.
correct, such as paying for reviews. You go ahead and tell. There's companies that you actually can hire,
When
and
you
they'll
pay them to review your company, and they review it.
and they review it. They're giving you a review as an individual giving you a review, but it's not really a legit review. And
Little
sometimes you can find out real easy because all you do is that you look at the person that actually reviewed it, and they're in another
They're a 5-star
country.
reviewer.
Well, they're in a different country. They might be in a different area. Their name doesn't sound local. Ching Chang Chong.
Ching chang chong.
Whatever. It doesn't
No
sound right.
discrimination on this T Talks.
Huh?
No discrimination on T Talks.
Hey, I said Ching Chang Chong.
Next, the negative SEO. Among the different types of SEO, this is by far the most, it could really, it's unethical. It's, negative SEO is done with basically the wrong intentions.
And definitely try to stay away from it. anytime you do something negative to try to get a positive, it's just bad aura. But people actually do it.
Hacking into somebody else's website,
Yeah.
build a suspicious high number of low quality links to it. Sending fake leads in, clicking on their website hundreds of times.
And the list goes on and on and on and on. The next one, rolling right along.
Is your on-page SEO. And how important is this to be optimized and be taken care of? When you're charging somebody to take care of your website and take care of your SEO, you're paying them per hour. Is this person putting 3 hours a week towards it? Are they putting 7 hours a week? Are they putting 10 hours a week towards your on-page SEO?
Most of the companies out there, they're basing it on how many and different criteria. But most of the criteria is going to go with how many keywords and how much of a local area you're trying to do. It's not the same trying to do a section like Broward County, or think of South Florida, and instead of doing the whole state of Florida. It's much harder to do the whole state of Florida than to do a particular city, because you're building up for different areas, or different metropolitan areas.
Well,
so
as you're talking about that, is it beneficial at that point to have your main homepage and have different landing pages per cities in your area?
Absolutely. And matter of fact, it's actually highly suggested, because what that does is that it regionalizes your particular website,
your effort,
and you're absolutely
you're itemizing that area.
And
Cape Coral, New York City, Sarasota, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Like, you could be working the Tri-County in Florida, but you want to market specifically to Coral Springs. There's huge municipalities throughout, that area.
Especially the ones that you want to target, you might want to go ahead and set it aside and have those links set aside to that particular landing site. And what that will do is that help you. And this is where Google Analytics comes in, and you start seeing where the traffic is coming from and ensuring. Because think about it. If you're in social media, it doesn't necessarily is going to take you to, if social media could be anywhere, in the United States or anywhere around the world. So if I'm in Texas, and you're selling throughout the whole United States, you're going to go ahead and click on it. You might go right into the main one. You're not going to really subdivide your Facebook or your Instagram effort, because you're trying to do it for the brand, not necessarily for the region.
All right, we got 4 minutes. Next T-Talk topic on the types of SEO. Technical SEO. Ralph, take the mic.
Well, this is the way that you structure your actual website. The best way is making sure that your data is actually structured. So when these little web crawlers come in, there's some type of pattern. And the better pattern you have, the better that Google boot or Bing boot or Yahoo boot comes and picks up the data and sends it back. That's the easiest way to
mobile friendly at the same time. Make sure they're checking the content on both computers, mobile devices, tablets. Make sure everything's processing correctly.
Absolutely. And the last but not least, the off-page SEO. That's an easy one.
Talking about off-page SEO, it might be confusing, but that is the easy one. Go ahead.
So what you want to try to do is that you want to have the trusted sites, okay? Such as your social media, some of the online forums, and if you're home improvement, the Angie's List, the Home Advisors, that you're actually linking, and they're linking right back to you. So these are going to be your big, almost an extension of your website.
No, definitely for reviews, for overall content, for them to find you on these large
platforms. The Yelp,
platforms.
Believe it or not, the Yelp actually helps you on the regionalized aspect of things. the same thing can go with the Home Advisor. You can regionalize it if you have different markets in different area. But these are the things that will help you on the off-page SEO to go ahead and regionalize your site, so you can drive traffic to those particular pages that you have. And the most important of all this, and when it comes to SEO, is that the SEO is going to drive traffic to your site. What you do with them when they're in your website, it's going to be up to you, and it's all going to be up to your webmaster to make sure that they're capturing something out of this individual. A lot of times you got to offer something. You got to make sure that you're giving some information for free, so you can get that name, you can get that email, and
Yes.
at that point you can go ahead and target them for future possibilities.
And I think that's a great way to leave off this episode and probably segue right into the next episode with what do you do next? What call to action do you have on your website for them to enter the information? Does your website look friendly enough? Does it look like you're real enough? Does it look like you're legit? Did they find you on these other off-site websites, the Angie's List, the Home Advisors, wherever realm you're in a business? How do you look online? You got salespeople knocking on doors. You got other advertisement out there. Everybody's going to go online and find you before they buy from you. This is 2021 post-COVID. Everybody is online. That's it, folks.
Thank you for tuning in to ttalks.net. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, email us. Thank you for tuning in to ttalks.net. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, email us at raphael@ttalks.net or comment below. Please follow us on YouTube at ttalksnet and Facebook at ttalksnet. Please rate us, and don't forget that sharing is caring. Thank you for your support. Till next time, we will talk later.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alex DeLuca. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody have a good night from Naples.
And this is Raphael from Hollywood, Florida, saying good night.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.